Okay, we're live. We have Dr. Meryl Nass here. Can you tell us your name, please?
Krista Cosier.
And tell us your story, and Dr. Nass will interview you.
Okay. In 1988, my daughter was born in October, and in December she went for her, they told me it was a routine visit, and she was getting her first round of vaccines, and 4 days later I woke up and she was gone. They did a full investigation, CDC, the sheriff, everybody came to my house. For about a day and a half, we felt like we might be arrested because she was sleeping in our bed with us, and we didn't know what was going to happen. But then they came out, medical examiner said that she had died of SIDS, and so the community rallied around us, and that was wonderful. It wasn't until COVID happened that I heard a report that said that 85% less infants had had their vaccines in the first 9 months of COVID. And this was probably 9-10 months in. And then shortly after, a report came out that said 85% less infants had died of SIDS in that same time period. And I had a revelation and kind of realized that that's what happened to my daughter. And at that time, I had just lost my mom of a disease, actually the day before lockdowns, and she had been on a trial medicine, and they took her off of that, and she passed away. And so it was a lot to deal with.
Wow. So your mother was on was in a clinical trial?
Mm-hmm.
And you thought she was benefiting from the medicine?
Definitely was benefiting.
And then was taken off and wasn't given an option to receive it?
Oh, we begged them. They told her there was nothing they could do unless we had $30,000 per pill.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of medicine was this?
It was a trial medicine. We don't know. We weren't allowed to know.
What was her condition?
Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Oh, yes, that's right. There are some expensive medicines for that.
And we tried to get her on right to try, and they said because the trial was too big, she didn't qualify.
You know, I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, I don't either.
People don't realize that when they enter a clinical trial, they think they're doing something good for humanity, but that it may help them, that they're getting state-of-the-art treatment, and they don't realize that they are basically being used as guinea pigs by the industry.
I don't think she knew it was going to end either. We thought it would follow her to the end of her life, which made sense to us.
Right. Of course it does.
So October 2019 is when they removed her from that medicine. She died March 14th, 2020, in hospice. We visited her that day, and my brother left to get my dad food, and when he came back, they took his temperature. So that tells you where we were in COVID.
Wow.
Meryl, we got a photograph of her baby. What was your baby called?
Her name was Amber Nicole Ray Bender.
What vaccines in 1988? Do you have any idea would that baby have gone?
She would have gotten, in 88, a DPT. She would have gotten probably an oral polio. She is likely to have gotten a Hib vaccine at that time. I'm not sure if there was anything else in 88.
In 1986, my son was born, and he had an allergic reaction to the DPT. And it was a skin rash and a lump, and they said it's normal. We won't give him the P and the DPT anymore. So they just left that out.
Meryl, why did they take the DPT or DTP, whichever way around it is, shot away? Why did that stop? You don't get his DTaP and Tdap now.
Right. So the original, about 100 years ago, a diphtheria shot was developed, a tetanus shot was developed, and a pertussis shot was developed, and then they were all put together. And every kid, including me and everyone in this room, would have gotten a minimum of 3 doses, maybe 5, maybe more, of that shot. Now, it was noted in Japan that there were a lot of problems with babies, so hyporesponsive episodes, seizures, and baby deaths after that shot. And so Japan changed the shot, and instead of using a whole cell pertussis, they used a different kind of pertussis starting, can't remember the year, but starting around 1980. And then the United States kept using the old shot for a while, and Barbara Loe Fisher, one of the founders of the National Vaccine Information Center, wound up on TV talking about how this shot was harming and killing babies. And there was quite an uproar after that. She also published a book. And the uproar was great enough, and the lawsuits over the injuries caused by pertussis is whooping cough. So this was a whooping cough component of the vaccine, were sufficient that a few things happened. So one was the Vaccine Injury Act of 1986, which took away liability from the manufacturers because they said, we're not going to be making these shots for your children anymore unless we get liability protection from the government. Otherwise, we're just getting out of the industry. We don't make much profit on this. And it's costing us a lot of money now that people know that these shots can cause serious diseases. So about that time, like a year or two later, maybe it was 1997. I think it was actually 1997-ish in the U.S. that we went to the newer, less reactogenic, a shot with a pertussis vaccine that caused less reactions. It also turned out later, they said at first that it was more effective. It turned out later to be less effective. And the pertussis shot is very ineffective. It only works maybe for a year or two, and then wears off, and may even, like the COVID shot, make you more susceptible to pertussis. And pertussis, we've all had the pertussis shots. I've had pertussis several times. It is rampant in the community, but it's not the serious illness it was 100 years ago. It's like a cold, and you just keep coughing for 2 or 3 months.
It's like whooping cough, right?
Whooping cough, yes.
Well, Dr. Nass is back in England, according to the headlines. It's called the 100-day cough.
That's the Chinese name.
They're trying to scare the people that they're all going to die from whooping cough.
So it as I said, it's endemic. It's always been here. It always will be here. Even though it's a bacterial illness, antibiotics don't cure it. So you can take erythromycin, azithromycin, or some other antibiotics, and it supposedly will make it less likely to spread from person to person. And you're only contagious the first few weeks. Usually by the time you go to the doctor, you're not contagious anymore. And
didn't we used to in my day you got put in with steamy bath or steamy room or something?
So the people for whom whooping cough is dangerous are the very, very young babies, whose tracheas are very narrow, so that sputum and secretions and tightening, like asthma, could block the airway. But that almost never. There's almost no deaths from. There's probably in the United States there's less than 5 or 10 deaths a year in little babies from whooping cough.
Okay, so just to remind everyone, Children's Health Defence does not give out medical advice, nor is Dr. Nass right now giving out medical advice.
I don't even have a medical license,
That's right.
but I have read the literature, and I can certainly comment on what I've read.
Yes, these are personal opinions, and people should make what they want of it. So just while we're on this subject, and it must have been a terrible shock for you to suddenly think that this
going through it again.
Yeah. So
that's why have a hard time not crying, because it's like it's very raw. It's like it happened all over again. Only now, instead of my husband and I blaming each other, which we're not together, we didn't last but 2 years after that.
Right.
And we blamed each other. Must have been something you did. Must have been something you did. I had her too close to me. I insisted she was in the bed or whatever. I blamed myself. He blamed himself. We blamed each other. And now I just blame my government. I just blame the government. I think they killed my mom, my daughter.
Can we show the viewers this picture of your daughter? So there. And Caroline's going to get a copy of this so that we can put her on the bus. This is tragic. Thank you for being so brave and
Thank
come
you.
here and talk to us.
Sorry, I brought tissues. I should have had them out.
Thank you, Dr.